Jake, and I'm here to tell you how coding has changed my life. I went into coding knowing absolutely nothing about it. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I just really liked video games. And I knew that no matter what I did, I knew that I wanted to be able to do anything I wanted on my computer.
Wow, it's just like real life, man. What the?
I didn't know anybody who knew how to code. I didn't know even where to begin. And all I did is I just started Googling stuff. I went to YouTube. I did anything I could. I just picked a language and went with it. I actually learned C++ first. And then I decided to learn C. And then I started to get into web development and I did JavaScript, which, that actually is what most jobs are in. It's not, I mean, there are a lot of jobs in complicated stuff, systems programming and stuff like that. But like most things are, JavaScript, web development, middle tier stuff like C Sharp, REST APIs, stuff like that. There's a lot of database stuff that you can get into. A lot of the older generation are database people who learned SQL back in the early 2000s and 90s, and they are retiring because they made their fortune doing what they do now. With AI and everything else, there will still be need for database people. Backend and database people, I think, are going to have an easier time than people who are just doing strictly front end. So this is what I would do. The first thing I would do is learn the basics of something like JavaScript, because there are a lot of jobs still in JavaScript. Even with AI, JavaScript will be fine. There are a lot of companies throughout the United States. I'm not talking big cities. I'm talking just like mid to small size cities that have companies that need websites. That will always be something that is needed. And there is a good chance that they're not going to know how to even prompt AI to create a website, host it, manage it, update it, etc. So you really should learn JavaScript. So the first thing I would do personally is learn JavaScript fundamentals. A lot of people say HTML and CSS first. I would learn JavaScript because JavaScript will give you that foundational knowledge to code in any programming language. So once you go from front end to back end, or even like database stuff, you're going to know how to programmatically solve problems, which I think is more important than learning UI styling, stuff like that. So I would learn JavaScript. JavaScript is probably going to be your best friend. It is very flexible in what it can do, which can sometimes be confusing, but just focus on the main things. In most tutorials on YouTube, Udemy, whatever, they'll go over the like conditional statements, control flow, classes, function, etc. That's your most important stuff. And then after you do that, learn DOM, the document object model. That's basically how web pages are dynamically changed with JavaScript code. Once you learn that, you can go to HTML. You don't really need to know all that much about HTML. If you know what a div is and an H1, and then maybe a button and an input, and maybe a form, you'll probably be fine, especially with the help of AI. And then you can learn CSS. But I will say CSS is important to learn initially, but most people will probably be using Tailwind or some kind of Bootstrap, some kind of like design component library. Then after you do all that, then learn a front-end framework. I think Vue is super easy to get into. SvelteKit's good, React, Next, all those are good. That's what I would do. Now going back to what I was talking about originally, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was working at a grocery store. And then I went to college, and then I started taking some computer science classes. Didn't know anything. I learned most of the stuff that I do in my day-to-day job actually from home. I did it on my own time, on my gaming computer, not on my school laptop or anything like that. You learn a lot of problem solving in school, but the actual skills that they look for when they're hiring people, you do from your home. You do it on your own time. They don't teach that in school. It's just build whatever you can. Stuff that's interesting to you, because if it's interesting, you're going to constantly be working on it and learning new things. You're going to be good. And then you will run into problems. And when you run into problems, figure them out. That's what people hire for now. Not if you can solve an algorithm or know all the data structures. A lot of these mid to small size companies just will give you a problem to solve or something to think out loud and talk about. And if you do enough projects and enough things that you want to do and you don't know how to do it, you will run into these problems. You'll know how to solve them. You'll be able to go through the same process in an interview and you will get a job. Another thing I would say, you're not going to be making $200,000 a year starting out, like, especially, I mean, you can, it's definitely possible, the thing and everything, but like most of the experience that I have with interviews, companies, etc., it's like for my area, like mid to upper class, like high mid to upper class salary for entry level. And then there's growth. You know, every year you're getting like a 3 to 5% raise, and then you might also get a 5 to 10% bonus of what your current salary is. Plus you have benefits, 401k matching, etc. Like that's typical, at least for my area. I know a lot of people who didn't go to school for computer science, and I'm working with them and they're making a lot of money just because AI is helping and it is taking some jobs. They're going to need people like us to be able to manage those things. And if you know the process, now is the time. Get your foot in the door now, and you will be around when AI does take over to manage systems, to architect, to do things that non-technical business owners cannot even imagine doing. What they're going to do is they're going to hire people who have been around the block enough to know how to manage these systems and control the AI in a way that will give them the best results possible for the cheapest amount of money. That's my advice. Take it or leave it. I think the best time to learn is now. Don't wait. Get on that damn horse, brother. Get on it now. I'm telling you, you don't want to wait much longer. You want to do it now. That's been it. Peace out.